All right, everybody, and thanks for tuning in to our live stream. Instagram, for some reason, is not going live right now, so, but we will. Oh, there it is. All right, it takes a second. You gotta love technology. It works when it works, right?
Yep.
So, anyways, good morning, everybody. I've got my coffee and water, and sorry we were not on last week. I had an interesting week, which I consider to be a blessing. Maybe not everybody else thinks that, but it is what it is. I'll talk about that in just a second. I'm just getting all the social medias set up here because StreamYard is a wonderful tool to go across multiple platforms, but you have to do all the little things like Facebook automatically brings it as private because Facebook likes to make things difficult. Instagram, you have to put in a special key in order to go live. YouTube wants something, everything else. But anyways, last week I was staying on the beach and I was feeling dehydrated. I've been having a problem with being dehydrated for a while. And I do think that it is electromagnetic on a spiritual and metaphysical level. This morning, yesterday I went to my functional medicine doctor and my blood pressure was high again. It was 167 over 101. So that was, but what we're noticing too is my blood pressure goes up when I got a lot of stress. And then it goes down when I don't have a lot of stress. So last week I was in the hospital. And when we were in the emergency room, this emergency room is not attached to a hospital. So they had to move me on an ambulance. I asked them if I could just drive. And they said, well, you could. But it's honestly just cheaper to take the ambulance because you'll go to the hospital and then they'll basically want you to, how do I say it, go through the emergency room process again. And then you'll have to wait. This way I could just get you right up to a room and you can go to sleep. So I was like, all right, I'll go to well, anyways, long story short, they got my blood pressure down while I was in the emergency room. The journey in the ambulance to the hospital, it jumped up 20 points. So it told me that this is all stress induced. Well, if you guys have been following these coffee chats, me and Jenny's last 10 months has been extremely stressful. And and this is a part of the spiritual process. I mean, to recognize and be honest about what's going on. And so anyways, long story short, I've had a lot of stress. I have a symposium going on this weekend and I've got a lot of events and, well, it's just good to get aware. So this morning I woke up at 7 and I spent basically two hours in meditation, and you can feel it. There's just a pressure on your body. And so I just started sitting there going and saying divine timing, divine order, divine plan, make it easy. And I used to say to Jeremy, I love you. And Jeremy, you're doing great work, but allow it to go and flow with God. And, just feeling that energy of love inside of me. And you could feel that pressure start to lessen. So there is a process to this. So, but yeah. And so that's my story and I'm sticking to it.
Well, I remember because I've had a lot of blood pressure problems myself, and I would feel it coming up in my neck. And that's when I'd go and have my blood pressure cut immediately. And when you say 160, whatever it is, I remember the days if I had it 160 over 100, I was happy because I had it at time 250 over 200. I mean, many times when I went into the emergency room, they thought I was going to stroke out because my blood pressure was so high.
Yeah, and you can feel it. It's like a pressure on your eye.
Oh, gosh, yes, you can feel it. You can feel it as it always would come up in my neck. Feel like they're doing, holding it up. And I would immediately start breathing. And I realized, and that's why I told you nitric oxide. You need to ask her if you can do a pill of that because it opened up everything for me.
It's in the stuff I'm taking.
Okay, good. Because I did the research by accident because I was looking at eczema. And that's what came in. I thought, wow, that is more important to have those arteries opened up like that.
Well,
So we're just learning how to live within our own bodies in a different way. That's all.
and I found out too, like our most of America has what is called a leaky gut,
Yes.
and basically it has to do with your body being very acidic. Um, and so because it's very acidic, it starts your small intestine starts getting tears in it, which starts releasing some of that toxic stuff in your intestines. And so um, as a result of that, and then your intestines gets very inflamed.
Right. A
And
lot of this is inflammation. And people don't understand inflammation either.
yeah, so I've started doing I get it's really inexpensive. It's turmeric and
Hmm.
ginger, and you just throw it in some alkaline water or purified water if that's what you have, and you boil it, and you make it it's like a tea out of it, and it tastes. I mean, I like the taste. Some people might be an
I
acquired.
do it for my coffee.
Yeah.
I do, but I do turmeric, ginger, cinnamon, black pepper, and cayenne pepper. I made a combination, and every morning in my coffee, I dip a little bit of that in there with my honey and my milk and my coffee. I love it. I can't even do coffee anymore without it.
Right.
So I carry it with me.
Yeah, I mean it's stuff, and it's one of those things where our diet is not the greatest, and the other thing is that most people don't realize that movement actually lowers your blood sugar and your
Hmm.
blood pressure. So some friend of mine, this is a nurse practitioner, said to me a long time ago. He said one of the things that ages people the most, they get retired and they're excited because they don't have to go to work anymore, and they go and they sit on their couch or they sit in their easy chair, and then they just don't move. Like instead of walking, and like you're out in your garden every day, well,
Hmm.
almost every day, and so
Or chasing my cat.
or chasing your cat. But even before you were doing that, you were laying on the floor doing stretching.
Oh heck yeah! I totally believe in stretching, and you can stretch in a chair. You can stretch anywhere. You know, stretching out. The other day, I really did a long. I've been hurting in this shoulder because of holding the mouse. So I laid in my bed and I started stretching that out, and I knew because everything was being taken care of. You know, hurting here, I knew I'd hurt over the opposite side. So I started working. Immediately got it out. But we listen to our bodies, and that's more important that we listen to it because
Yep.
it's talking to us all the time about what we are. I did get a book that I found interesting. It's called The Medical Medium.
Oh wow, who's that
Yeah.
written by?
This is about Anthony William. I saw, and it's called, he was the best selling author of Clean. And a lot of this is about why migraines and, just different little things. Because I was looking at it for eczema, freeing your brain and body of toxins. I mean, we're being more toxed. We have been toxed out, a lot of us. And with the electromagnetic field, they're not, and that's not clean either, but
Yep.
they do a lot. Why I've been doing a lot of blueberries,
Oh,
sprouts.
yeah, the antioxidants and everything in there.
Yeah,
Good. Less of-
cucumbers is a big one too.
Oh,
That's the best thing you can do. Is that's your adrenals and your kidneys. Is lots of cucumbers.
yeah, and so one of the things you can do too, and is celery juice.
Yes.
Now, it doesn't. It takes a lot of celery juice to create a cucumber in there because it also that comes up with a
Yeah,
lot of
and
antioxidants.
some spinach to put it in together. All of it. And some lemon.
Now, some people will say not to do this, but I throw sometimes I'll throw a carrot in there because
Yeah.
it kind of takes that bitterness of the celery out.
Uh-huh.
But what it does is it starts to clean out your gut, and
It
it also is full of hydration too because just
It does. It makes you very hydrated. I'm into celery. I like celery, so I like to eat it in my anything. Like in my salads and stuff like that. Yes, absolutely.
yeah. Yeah, so there's
I
just
don't do a lot of sugar anymore either because I'll do more honey. Sugar is another thing. If you do raw sugar, it's one thing, but when you're doing processed sugar, it really does make the inflammation stronger in your body. I gave that up quite a while ago with sugar.
yeah. I started using it more over the past few months just because it was available, but it was more. It's been more because Suzanne gets more of the non-processed sugar. She gets the what is it? The organic sugar. I don't know what it is.
Yes, raw sugar.
She's very big on being healthy and stuff. So, but the honey has a bunch of nutrients in it.
Yes.
You take that in the morning. So, and
I
I'm
do
just
sugar in my coffee. I mean, honey in my coffee.
my blood sugar was high too. So one of the things I've learned is like sourdough bread. A lot of carbohydrates will increase your blood sugar, but sourdough bread decreases your blood sugar.
Right.
So one of the things that a lot of Italian families do, a friend of mine was just telling me that, in Italy they eat a lot of pasta, but it's wheat-based pasta. It's not processed flour, and then then they eat sourdough bread and they eat lots of leafy greens before they eat their pasta. So the leafy greens like spinach and kale and stuff like that actually lower your blood sugar.
Right.
And then a lot of diabetics, you do a very heavy diabetic diet, but insulin-resistant diets are the better approach because it actually that diet lowers the blood sugar and your dependency on the medications that you need for, protecting your blood sugar. I guess the best way to put it. So,
Absolutely.
so there's just a lot of things now, and then strawberries actually help decrease your blood pressure, but they increase your blood sugar. And so there's a lot of things that you can do, but really what it comes down to is that I've been extremely busy for a while, and I was eating things that were convenient.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, processed food. I gave up processed food. I've been going to Costco, and I've been really watching the ingredients, and I'm not dealing because I don't want any more acidity in my body, and I can feel that acidity anymore.
Well, you can feel it in you get indigestion and everything else. So it's
Yes.
and what does this do for your intuition? I think that your intuition gets stronger when you're eating healthier. Uh,
Hmm.
your body, you're not if your body is if your body is focused in on the pain and the anxiety and the things going on with it, your intuition is not going to be as strong because it's focused in on other things. So,
Right.
but yeah.
Ghost Rider isn't on today. That's amazing.
Oh, I'm sure she'll be on later on. But it's also the summertime, and everybody's getting ready to go for the Fourth of July, and
Oh
uh,
my God. No, can you believe it? It's almost 4th of July.
yeah.
They already got the fireworks out. Everybody, I thought, wow.
So Melissa's in Minnesota, and I'm thinking about probably I would say probably 2004. I was in Minnesota at Detroit Lakes, and I might yeah, it was probably about 2004, 2005 because Mom had just gotten Molly. Um, I know maybe it was later. Now it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what year it was, but I remember Molly was scared of fireworks, and it was about 60 degrees out at night because Minnesota decides that it's going to be the winter
Hmm.
at night.
That's where Kentucky is right now. We're at 74.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Well, we're shooting out the fireworks, and Molly drags me across the yard. But there was no place to put her, because she was going to be scared. So I wanted to be close by her, at least hold her. She was just there shivering, and finally one firework just went off too much, and I was holding onto her leash, and she literally started running and dragging my 250-pound butt across. I'm like, how does this 65-pound dog just drag me?
She took you off guard. That's one
Yeah,
thing. She took you off guard. But no, they can do that. They have a lot of power. And she was a white shepherd. So, yeah.
yeah. Melissa's laughing. I said 60 degrees is winter. Listen, Melissa, you lived in Florida. 60 degrees in Florida is winter.
Yes, it is. Now, and I can vouch for that. Yeah.
Jenny's missing the Florida.
I am. I'm hoping that I'll be in there in August. So just for 5 days. I mean, I have a friend there, and you're pretty close, so we'll find out if that can work out because I'll see you then. But no, I just need to go to the beach. She asked me about that, and I said, I don't want to get in the water. I just need to have the rays coming in off of the water. I miss the sun, even though I have sun out here. But I can still tell you there's been something changed in the sun. You can feel the difference in it. And I think there's a lot of with the plants that I'm looking out in my garden. My tomatoes are looking very good. And I have a lot of jalapenos that I've been doing. So, yeah, been interesting.
Jalapenos. That's I didn't know you liked jalapenos.
I love jalapenos. I like to make them like pickles, and they're called cowboy candy. And I love it because when you make them, they taste like they're pickled, but they're spicy. But they're great for a sandwich, or putting like tuna. The other day I made tuna salad, and I put it in the tuna salad instead of the pickles, and it was what I had made 2 years ago. I love it.
I think
It's also good. It's very good for your gut.
yeah. Well, yeah, it cleans it out. I
Yeah,
think
people
someone,
think that's not right, but it is. It's,
I
it's
think
good for your gut.
I think Melissa wants to do what you want to do, Virginia. She wants to winter in Florida.
Yeah, I want to winter in Florida and come back to Kentucky in the spring and do spring, fall, summer. But I don't want to do here in the winter. I hate winter here in Kentucky. It's very dreary.
Well,
Is Melissa the one that's got land in Kentucky?
no, Colette. That's Colette.
Colette. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I want to meet her when she comes into Kentucky. I want to meet her.
she should be going there soon. She's still got to sell her house in Florida, but yeah, she's original.
Corbin. Does she have any idea what Corbin? What it?
She's an hour south of Corbin.
Oh, okay. Because Corbin is another. Corbin, Kentucky, at one time was very, very mafia.
Oh,
Very, yeah, it was tough. It was a tough little city, and they had a place that you could go and do. It was a bar, but it was a strip bar. I mean, it was rough, and people died there. They had gunshots. Fights there. Yeah, it was pretty tough. That's why when I thought you said she was in Corbin, I thought, whoa, that's a whole new ball game.
Danielle says, Virginia Drake, we'd love to have you as a snowbird.
I think I would love to be there for Snowbird.
So yeah, well, they also have the first Kentucky Fried Chicken there, though. I mean,
Yes, they did in Corbin.
So the mafia went to Colonel Sanders for dinner, huh?
I don't know if it was it was the cornbread mafia.
Oh,
That's
okay.
a different mafia.
Gotcha.
I mean, that's what Bluegrass Conspiracy was the book about. And I mean, it's a big deal here. And we have trafficking pretty bad here as well in different places, different cities. Like when we had the Derby, they had to be very conscious because those kind of things are opened up, and that's when trafficking comes in even stronger. We have it in Lexington, Kentucky as well, which is only 15 minutes away from me. That was I'm concerned about that. Kentucky we have some very big celebrities here too in Kentucky.
I remember William Shatner used to be your neighbor.
Who?
William Shatner.
Yes, he did. From my mother and my ex-mother and father-in-law.
Yeah.
That was their neighbor. Yeah, I've been with them with the horses, just standing at the fence. Yeah. Very nice. He was nice to us, but we know nobody in Versailles never get upset about the celebrities because we had celebrities, so we don't get all excited about them.
After all the people I've interviewed and I've met celebrities, they're just people.
They are. They got to be just like we do.
And,
that's what I say.
They have feelings just like us, and they
get upset. They're depressed. They can. In fact, if you want to know the truth, I think a lot of these celebrities are more depressed than they're even letting us know. Well, they live in a very short. They're in a box a lot of times. I
Yeah.
wouldn't want to. Well, you and I have only had a few moments of that. I mean, but I don't like that. I don't like when people call me a celebrity or something like that because I'm far from being a celebrity.
Yeah, we had that on our one of our groups that we do, and they're like, "You two are celebrities." I was like,
Yeah,
"No,"
no, no, no. We
and I said, "Girl, celebrity doesn't pay the bills."
no. And it doesn't. You know, what does that mean? Well, when I, well, you used to laugh when I would go answer, I'd call somebody and they go, oh my God. And I'd start laughing because I thought, who are they talking about? First I said, who are they talking about? Then I realized they're talking about me. They just couldn't believe we'd ever even answer.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
not a
wait,
big
they start going out to the Kroger, and people go, "Virginia Drake."
deal. Our Costco, I was with my niece and a woman came up and said, I think you're on a video. And Maddie looked at me and I thought, oh boy. So we sat down and we talked. I put my arms around her and I said, yes, I did. And she said, you are really real. Yeah, I got to eat just like you all do. And I do shop at Costco. So there you go.
Well,
You
half the
know,
time too, it's funny because Hulk Hogan lives in this area, and people say they'll see him at Publix, but it took them a second to realize who it was because
yeah.
he goes in with a baseball cap on. He's not all the filters and the makeup.
Well,
And,
yeah, we don't.
you know,
I think it's funny.
I do too, and it's just really I laugh because you meet like I've met two people from The Secret, and I found that once you get to know them as a person and then hear their stories about that movie, then
Mhm.
they just become they're just a person on a screen until you actually meet them.
It's exactly.
And then I've met people from the movie What the Bleep Do We Know and stuff like that. Now that's not major Hollywood celebrities, but in our genre they are.
Well, I've met some really one. See in Versailles. We had a lot of movie stars that came here to. They would do a movie here, like Natalie Wood. I've met her. I met Robin Williams. Now I met Robin Williams when he was a young man, and he was in Clifton, where we would go and play in the river. And he was there. He was he's real shy. We didn't know him. I mean, he wasn't. He was a kid, just like we were. So no.
Now
But
I
we've met a lot of the celebrities here in Versailles and in Woodford County.
So probably about 2 or 3 years ago, I fangirled a little bit. I was just like, oh my god! But it was an author. He wasn't necessarily a celebrity, but he wrote a Star Wars series that my mother and I read, you know, 30 years ago.
Hmm.
And his name is Timothy Zahn. And
No,
I was
I didn't.
walking by, and he has this little table, and I walked by and I saw Heirs to the Empire, and I was like, and I thought, well, I was more going into it because I thought if my mother was alive, she would just be so excited about this because she's the one that introduced me to that book series. Well, I sat and talked to him and I told him about my mom and all that kind of stuff, and but he created some of the major characters in the
Oh,
modern,
wow.
and and then I think last year me and Damien were at Comic-Con and I saw Klinger,
Oh,
um, and it was funny because then
MASH from MASH.
yeah, from MASH, yeah,
Oh, that was a great movie.
who is now officially a Disney princess, so because Disney owns that series. But then I saw Walter Koenig, but he had hardly anybody there with him. And but the guy from Harry Potter, he had this huge line. But
Mm.
that's a new movie series now, and the kids these days that they're going to recognize that over the old Star Trek.
Well,
So
you know, when I was in Hawaii with the boys and Ron, my ex-husband, we were there, and the guy that was always on the movie, he said, "This must be." He had long blonde hair. He's a model, but he's on a lot of books for love, and he was doing a calendar there. And I ended up being interviewed by Entertainment Tonight because they asked me, and I said, "Oh yeah, because I was sixth grade teacher, and they asked me about it." I said, "Yeah, he's on a lot of our books for the young girls for sixth grade." And I said, that's why I recognized him, but I can't remember what his name. But he had a parrot on his shoulder, and it bit him, and
oh
he had to be whisked off. Oh yeah, and I mean, but I was on Entertainment Tonight because of talking about him.
So you are a celebrity.
Well, no, not, but some people from Versailles saw it. They said, you were in Hawaii and you were on Entertainment Tonight with, what was that guy's name? He's got long blonde hair, he did. And he's a foreign guy, but he was like gorgeous. He was real, and that's when they asked me.
You're talking about Fabio? Is that what it was?
Yes, Fabio. That was who it was. And I mean, they just pulled me out of the audience watching. And because I was saying it to my sons, I said, that guy is on our books all the time for kids or, young girls. And they just pulled me out of the thing and started to asking me, interviewing about him. And I said, well, he's really helped a lot of books to get written and wrote, written and read. And I kind of laughed, and they said, then they just started entertainment. They said, we're Entertainment Tonight. I had to sign a release and all of it.
Oh, yeah, we did that for the BBC many years ago, and it was out in front of a nightclub. Probably not very flattering. So, Danielle says her mom took a photography class with Jamie Farr. That's actually really cool. That's really cool. That's really cool.
And when they're just they're like us. I mean, like I said, in Versailles, in Woodford County, we have a lot of celebrities here. We've always had them, in Versailles especially. I mean, we've had Sam Shepard was here. He's no longer with us, but he lived in Midway, Kentucky. And everybody, he would go to the shops and everything. Nobody would buy. Why they asked him, why do you stay in Kentucky? He said, because they don't give a damn whether I'm a celebrity or not.
Well,
and he's exactly right, because we all think we're celebrities here. So we don't think you're any better. I mean, our governors, we have had 5 governors here. You'll see them shopping in the Kroger store, and you don't say anything. You're just too. I don't know if we're proudful or I'm not going to show them anything about them,
That's hysterical. That is.
It is. Woodford County is funny stuff.
A restaurant up there. It was after one of the, I can't remember that Steve Roden's show. What was the name of that? Interlight Festival.
Mm-hmm.
I remember there's a girl that I used to know that would come up there and she'd watch me speak. Well, she took me out to dinner, and I think it was Malone's. I don't know.
It's probably Malone's.
And I was sitting there, and I was like, well, what do you like? What's good on the menu? And the waiter said, well, the fried chicken is really good. He goes, that's what William Shatner gets when he comes. And I was like, oh, the fried chicken it is.
Yeah, well, and he would be in our Kroger store, too, be shopping. Nobody say anything. That's why he loved it. Nobody would bother him. Because we never have, just like with Natalie Wood. Now, with The Great Race was here. Flip Flam Man was here. I mean, and we recognize these people. I was in a couple of those movies, in the background. So, yeah.
Good morning. Good Grand
Rising. Yes, Grand Rising. I love that.
So.
Yeah, that's, when you look at that, because I was with a doctor from Hollywood, because I was 16. I think I was maybe 13, 14 years old, because I was a runner, and I took off 4 days of school. My mother allowed me to skip school to be in, because the mayor of our city was an ambulance driver. And he said, please let Jenny, because he lived down the street, and he said, let Jenny go with me. And I was a runner for him. I mean, if he needed something, I would run and get it. And, and then you get to I met Tony Curtis, Jack Lemmon. I met all of these guys. And I was very intrigued by Hollywood, but I also was disappointed in Hollywood because how they made it. And I was like, oh, that's how they did it. Because it took forever to do it. They would sit there. You were on set more than in your outfit and everything for hours and hours and hours till they set up it's really, the more I look at it, it's not a really great fun to be an actor and an actress, because you're stuck in these really long outfits, and it's hot. It was hot in Kentucky. I remember they were, Elizabethtown. That was the movie with, he was on, I can't remember all these men, but he came and sitting at a friend's house on porch. They made ice cream watching the movie at their house, because they were doing it at the funeral home. And he came over and had ice cream with them.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. Well, we saw that's what I'm saying. We didn't get upset about movie stars because we saw that a lot, especially coming in from Derby and Kentucky like that.
Well, that's what happened with Kelly, our friend Kelly, that her husband owned the Silver Ring Cafe here in Tampa.
Right.
And Burt Reynolds filmed his movie Cop and a Half there, and it was in and out of that restaurant during the filming. So, but we are at our time. Everybody check out our website at mydivineinheritance.org. And I sold this weekend, if you want to check it out, at myinnertemple.org. I have another symposium this weekend. Marie Diamond from The Secret is going to be on there this evening. So everybody have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.
Yes. Have a great weekend.